Hello and welcome to another review of a brand new shoe that I just got, which is the Dynafish Xiaonian, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But this shoe caught onto my radar when it got released, and so I got it pretty quickly online. And just a disclaimer that I'm not paid or sponsored by anyone or any brand to do this review, and everything that I say is based on just my own opinions and my own preferences. Yep. So this shoe, the new Dynafish Super Trainer, as it claims to be, which has just been released, I think very recently, maybe less than a month. So just to start off with a little bit of stats, it has 41mm in the heel and has a 7mm drop. It weighs between 189 to about 193 grams, which is very light. But I did weigh both sides of the shoe, the left and the right, and it has a little bit of discrepancy between them. So one side might be a little bit heavier than the other, but more or less they're both under the 200 gram mark, which is very light for a shoe like this. I got this in the EU 41 size, which is approximately US 8, I think, which is my true to size. And the foam is used out of a A19 TPEE foam, which is used in quite a lot of other shoes at the moment. Most popular by Adidas in their racing shoe lineup. And so this is definitely one of the more high caliber foams that is being used for this. And the name Xiaonian, from what I researched, actually means small catfish, I think. It also means resilience, so something to note about the name. My first impressions of this shoe when I got it, it's that it is very minimalist in terms of the way it feels. It kind of feels like I'm really not wearing a shoe actually, and it's actually half a size bigger than what I'm used to. I thought it would be true to size, but actually it runs a little bit bigger, so it doesn't have half sizes options, and so I had to choose the one that I think was closest to mine. But nevertheless, it doesn't give me a very big problem, just something that I feel when I am wearing it. And so I took it for a shoe testing the other day. I did a 2x2K around threshold effort around 4:45, and so I'm going to shift you to my on-ground observations right now.
So 2Ks in, and the way I feel about the shoe is that it's comfortable. It feels very minimalist because of how light it is. It kind of feels like I'm not wearing anything actually, even though the stack height is pretty tall. But in terms of the ride, I think it has to do a lot with the type of runner you are, because for me, I'm someone who doesn't have a lot of power, doesn't have a lot of like push and drop to the ground, where I can sink my feet into the sole, into the shoe, into the ground, and kind of propel myself up for the next step. I'm pretty light on my feet, so this is kind of how I feel about shoes from China that I've tested so far. Is that maybe it's the type of foams that they have, or like the formulation, where I think it benefits people who have a lot of power in their feet, in their legs. Because for someone like me who prefers to run quite lightly, very smooth, very kind of like almost like an African runner would, I don't feel that I'm making the best use of the foam underneath, that I'm not really pushing it all the way in, that helps to bounce it back up. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of China shoes, that compared to the big brands like Adidas, I think it suits a certain kind of runner. I might be wrong, but this is just based on my preference, that the ride that I got from the Dynafish was stable, was pretty good, but I think if I had a bit more power, I can really push the foam and compress it all the way in when I'm going at fast speeds. and it can really give me that nice bounce that a lot of people say that you can get from these kind of shoes. So yeah, that's the Dynafish.
Okay, and so that is my impression of what the shoe feels like on the road when I'm running. If I had a bit more power, I could compress the foam even more, and so I could maybe enlarge that responsiveness into the way that I think other people could. But nevertheless, it has a very comfy upper. The only thing I didn't like was that the laces are extremely long for some reason. I kind of had to cinch it up into the front here so that it doesn't dangle and move a lot when I run. But it is very long and it is quite thin as well. I kind of wish it was a little bit thicker, or maybe it uses the serrated kind of shoelace that I like. But yeah, I think that's so far the only big complaint that I have about this shoe. And I got it on Shopee when I first saw it for 512 ringgit, and that is before shipping. And so I think it could still be out there in the market. You can definitely take a look. I've seen some people try it already. If you do get a chance, let me know what you think in the comments. If you really think this is better than the next shoe that I'm gonna compare it with, which is the Adidas Evo SL. And yes, it is a direct comparison, of course, because this has been probably the best and most popular shoe of 2025. Everyone that I know has a pair of this in all sorts of colors. It is very versatile. It's considered like one of the more groundbreaking daily trainers of the past year. It is responsive, it's good for long runs, it's good for easy runs. You can do some tempo fast work in it as well. So I put this to the test side by side on the same day to see how it kind of fares and compares to each other. And so I'm going to bring you now to the on-ground observations.
And when I'm back into the Adidas Evo SL, granted it has more than 150 I think Ks on it already. It has lost a little bit of its bounciness, but the moment I put it on, I could still feel the foam underneath. I could still feel the responsiveness, and it's a feeling that I'm familiar with, you know, because I've used the shoe for so long already, and I felt good when I'm hitting the pace. Granted, I had to break up the 2K that I had because my legs were just not feeling it still. But I think overall, the ride of the Evo SL still holds up. It's still really good, comfortable. It gives me a good push forward, and I'm more in tune, I think, with this foam compared to the Dynafish. But not to say that the Dynafish won't break into it. You know, it's still only the first try out of the box, so it might need to be broken into a few more times so that the foam kind of loosens up a bit. But overall, if I had to choose one or the other at this moment, I probably go with the Evo SL for now. So that's my assessment.
Okay, and there you have it. That was my real and raw opinions about both shoes when I tried it on side by side. If I had to choose between this or the Dynafish right now, I would still lean more towards the Evo SL because of how versatile it is to my kind of running. Not to say that the Dynafish is not good, but I probably need to break it in a little bit more so that I can get a little bit softer feeling of the foam, and perhaps it would probably accommodate me a little bit more then. But at this moment, I would probably still go with the Evo SL. But if you are looking for maybe like a third alternative, which is actually a little bit hard to get in Malaysia still at the moment, I would actually still recommend the Asics Megablast. So This is a pair that I got when I was in Japan, when it just got released at the Tokyo World Athletics Championships. So when I was there, it was just flying off the shelves. Everyone was just getting this shoe, and I can kind of see why with the moment I put it on. It also has a very, very responsive, very bouncy foam. I don't remember the heel stack, but I think it's around maybe 42, 43. And it uses an ATPU foam, which, if some of you know, it is being used as well in shoes in Puma, especially their D8 Nitro Elite series or the Puma Fast R3. It is a very bouncy, very durable foam. It's probably the foam of the year for 2025, and Asics have used it in what is probably their best super trainer at the moment, compared to the Super Blast 2. And if I had to compare it side by side with the Dynafish, I think this one would still give a bit of edge over it, because not only is it versatile, not only can you do many different kinds of runs in it, but it also feels pretty good on foot. Although the midsole does come a little bit narrow in here, and so if you do have narrow feet, it might not suit you very much. But if you don't, kind of like me, I have like a neutral-ish foot shape, and so it would kind of fit very well with this. And so compare it side by side with the Dynafish. I think this Megablast is a little bit more responsive, a little bit more protected. Yes, you do feel like it is a bit of more shoe on your feet, but I think when you run in it, especially in faster paces, you can tell immediately that you are being supported, that you can kind of go very far, very fast in very little time. And yeah, that would be my third alternative for you. So overall, is this a good shoe? Is this an Evo SL killer? Well, depends on how you look at it. If in terms of the price point, it's definitely very good already. It's about 100 ringgit or more less than the Evo SL. In terms of versatility, I think it can do the job as well. I haven't taken it on the long run yet, but going at the pace that I did the other day, I think it holds up well if you have the power to break it in. It definitely needs a little bit more wear and trials to it, so that I can kind of break the foam down and kind of make it work for my running style. But yeah, overall, I think if you're looking for a good alternative, this is definitely one to look out for, especially with a lot of China brands now like this and Dynafish and even Anta. They're coming up with new super trainer shoes that doesn't have a plate in it. So 2026 will definitely be an exciting year for the super trainer category to really blow up. And so yeah, that's the review of the Dynafish Xiaonian. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please like, subscribe in this video, and I will try and come up with more shoe reviews in the future. So thanks again guys, hope to see you guys for the next one. Bye.